If there's ever been a more faithful vehicle, it's this one. She's an '04 Dodge 3500 with a 5.9 Cummins in it. This truck has gone miles and miles, more than 250,000 miles, well over 300,000. Without hardly any troubles. I think the most I've done is a set of ball joints wore out on it, a power steering pump that was junk from the factory that they don't even make anymore, that they have a one that they replaced it with over the years because it was such a piece of junk. Other than that, I put brakes on her. Well, she decided she wanted some attention. Got in it this morning, got to tow a car tomorrow, so I was doing my once over, you know, and I hit the brakes and they felt a little spongy, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, something just don't feel right. So I get up underneath the hood and she's down a little bit on the old master cylinder reservoir. So I'm like, uh-oh. And I've been hearing some funky noises in the back here. I'm thinking to myself, I know I replaced the brakes on this truck just like less than a year ago, I think, or a year. I did a video on it, on the front ones anyway. Pretty sure I did the back ones shortly before that. So I thought. I must have old-timer's disease because I evidently don't know what the heck I was talking about. And I'm going to show you why. I took a little peekaboo underneath the truck here. And look what I found. She's got a little problem. She'd be peeing on my floor here. So I did what any self-respecting mechanic can do. Mechanic? Sure. I got on the phone with the parts guy, and he's bringing me some parts. But now I gotta go digging into this thing. Could have sworn I put new brakes on this thing. That one's like brand new. The rotor's got a little rust on her, but because she sits around a lot, but like brand new. This one, let's get a close-up. See that? That's the fins inside the rotor. That's not good. That's the sound I was hearing, because it sounded like something going, ooh, you know, like fence, you know, stick on a fence kind of sound. Now I know what it was. We'll pull that baby out and let you look at it in a few minutes. But that is my problem. Now I may not need the caliper once we see what's going on there. It may have just been that the pad fell out and the thing's sticking out too far. But I ordered one just in case. I might want to put the new one anyway, since we have to rely on this old girl. But I have neglected this pretty girl for way too long, obviously. So it's about time she's going to get a little attention. You might recognize this jack. It's the one that we repaired in that broken tools video. So this will be her maiden voyage. I haven't really used it for anything big since I did that video. So let's test this out at the same time. It seems like a perfectly good time to do that. You get to see me at my best side here. I'm embarrassed to say that even my plastic chrome is starting to rust a little bit because I'm just not taking proper care of this truck. So I guess she's just gonna make me pay attention to her. So anyhow, there's a little notch in this cap somewhere. Here it is. And you just gotta get your bar in there and give her a little pry. these things just pop off, but you don't want to pry on the outside of these plastic rings. And actually, I don't even need to take the plastic ring off, so we're not going to. But you do need to take these off. Do not pry on the outside. You see this chip right here? You probably don't because it's kind of far away, but there's a little chip right here and a couple of cracks. This chrome will flex and crack if you do that. So you just got to pull them from in here, and sometimes you got to take the wheel off and hit it from behind, but don't ever pry on the outside of this. But I've got my sockets right here. We'll find one that fits. Kind of put them a little far away here. I've got my trusty free chair here that somebody threw in the back of my truck. I have no idea who, but whoever you were, thank you. See if we can find these are hugely. Well, it's 24. But what is it with these European people and or Chinese or whoever makes the socket kits? This one went 22, 23, 24, 27. What happened at 25 and 26? Whatever. Anyhow, but this one works. 24. But here we go. Now, my trusty battery-powered Ryobi. Not that Ryobi is a bad company. I've had these. I paid, I don't remember how much, but it's been faithful. Don't get me wrong. It's a good tool. But I'm going to bet $1. Not against everybody, because I can't afford that. But I'm going to bet, all right, I'm not going to bet any money. Okay, I'm not going to bet money. Because y'all be calling me up and going, you owe me $1. But I'm going to say that this is not going to work. Because these lugs are big and they're tight. So I'm going to pretty much be sure that this won't take them off. I'm going to have to get my air one. That thing will take anything off. Almost anything. So anyway, we'll try it. Maybe it'll come. I guess we'll take a consensus. Who thinks this will do it? The Ryobi electric. And who thinks, no, I'm going to have to get the pneumatic? Any takers? Now, I'm going to say on a scale from 1 to 10, a Ryobi is probably a 6 quality machine, with Milwaukee probably being at the top of the food chain on that one. And then, you know, you got a bunch of other off-brands and stuff that are probably, you know, down there in the 1-2 range. But not a bad tool. For the money I paid, it's probably a great tool. I'd like to replace all of these eventually with a Milwaukee set, but for now, this works fine. But now you know who makes good tools? Husky. I've got some Husky pneumatics that are darn good tools. But anyhow, I think Home Depot sells it. I don't know. But anyhow, this ain't about tools. This is about fixing this brake on my truck. And we're going to see. So we're going to see, for those of you that are believers in Ryobi, maybe even people who work at Ryobi or own Ryobi, here's the test. Now, maybe you make a better gun than this. Feel free to send me one and I'll test it out. So here we go. Ready? Well, if I could get on, there we go. Ready? Nope. Didn't think it would. I just know this truck. I've had her a year or 2, or 10, 12. These lugs are gut busters. I mean, trying to get them off with a 4-way, you know, it's like trying to arm wrestle Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to have to get pneumatics. I'm going to have to make some zoop, zoop, zoop noises, but we're okay with that. But yeah, this is going to take the big guns, shall we say. Got it. This is a Husky. Really, this top of the line Husky back in the day, but this is probably older than some of you viewers. I'm going to guess I probably bought it 10 years ago. But she got kicked butt, I'm telling you. But anyhow, got the big guns out. Let's see how they do. Ooh, baby. Compressor's juiced up. Full shot of 100-pound air. Oh, not a problem. This is not good. I smell gear lube as well. Oh no. Not good. We got a tough one there. There we go. New one. Nothing can handle the power of the husky one. Actually, this was the highest torque wrench I could find back in the day. They probably got better ones now. Without buying one of them big 3/4 inch semi lug nut ticker offers. Like 900 of these lug nuts on here too. This is a full floating axle, and I don't see anything coming out of it. I sure as heck smelled some gear lube a minute ago. That's the benefit to the pneumatics, is if they're not strong enough to do what you want them to do, turn up the air pressure. And boom, you got more power. Woo! It's like nitrous, right? More air. Alright. Come on, little girl. These tires are not light, let me tell you that. Woo! This is not looking good in here, folks. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Not good. Oh, I forgot. These are wonderful. I'm going to have to get you in here to appreciate this. But these, you got to take off all this crap to get this rotor off. Yep, and this rotor isn't. Just isn't. Okay, well, I remember doing this once before, but maybe I just did the one side. She definitely needs this other side done. I don't know. I have to get a light in here. I don't know if that pad is even there anymore. We'll see. We're going to get all this apart. This has got to come, this axle's got to come loose. This whole unit needs to slide off. I need to get this caliper off. Yay! You gotta love Dodge. Most vehicles don't have a hose going to the caliper. Most of them have a single drop in the middle and hard lines going to the calipers on either side. Dodge, gotta love them, has a hose. So we don't have to disconnect anything as far as lines go. Once we get this caliper loose, you should have enough play to just slide her on off. Not too shabby, right? This is a 21 millimeter. That just doesn't have the kick of the pneumatic, does it? But anyway, we're going to try it with this. If we can't get it, we've got the pneumatic nearby. But we're going to go ahead and pull these two off. There's two 21 millimeter bolts that hold this caliper on. And no problem at all on that one. No problem at all on that one. Woo! Fell right off. So they've got a little bit of, looks like a little bit of yeller Loctite on there. I'm not sure just how powerful the yeller is. That means you should probably put Loctite back on. I'm probably going to use red because that's all I keep in stock. I'm going to put these over here. Any old hubcap, keep things out of trouble. And pull this back. Oh, if I can. Oh. Well, we're gonna need a little help. Where did I put that helper bar? There it is. See if I can get this in here. The thing about this truck is this stuff is huge. I mean, these calipers are just monsters. Compared to a car anyway. I mean, if you're dealing with semis, I'm sure it's a little bit different, but she's going to give me a little bit of trouble. There we go. Pry it off of here. Oh, we're still fighting it. There we go. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Let's do the twist. Woo! Oh, sure, just fall out. Okay. Alright, let's see. Oh, God, that thing's heavy. Yeah, that caliper, she be leaking. I'm going to have to get something to set that on so I can show you. Let me do that now because I've got to get that loose. This little stool right here will do just fine on that caliper. This stool is the one and only thing that I got to take home with me from working for the Army. Yep, I built this. I forget why. It's the one thing I got to take home with me. So, thank you, Uncle Sam. Appreciate the stool. Well, of course they paid me. Not very much, but they paid me. But we're going to put this under here and set the caliper on it. I think it's so heavy. You think such a big vehicle would have more room to work under here, but it just doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. Alright, now gosh, I need to get you in here to see all this, but there's nothing left of that pad, and I'm going to go ahead and zing these two. Oh my, she did go beyond the beyond. I don't know if I can even get it to go back in now. Wow, okay. Well, anyway, let me bring you in here so you can see what's going on. As you can see, this has pretty much all but nothing left to it. This has gone in so far that it's disappeared, which means I got to get this to go back so that I can get this out of here. Take that out, slide this off of here, we get these pads up. I might be able to push these back, and they don't look too bad, to be honest with you. But if you look at the rotor, you got to kind of... It was definitely hitting harder in the backside than the front, because the front's still pretty good material, but the back's just gone. So that means she wasn't coming back, you know, the way she should. She wasn't springing back the way she should. So we're going to put a new caliper on it, so we don't want to mess around. But I'm going to take these two bolts out, this one and that one, and slide this off of here. And then we'll slide the new ones back on when they come in. They're not here yet, but they should be here shortly. And we'll start working on getting this rotor off of here, because you got to take all this off. Alright, pull this piece off, put it aside, take the pads out. That one was nearly nothing left. I mean, literally a hairline left. This one, nothing left. Look, it's even bent. It even got bent because it was trying to push so hard and so far. There's no pad left. It's metal to metal. These are supposed to have a scratcher and tell you when that's happening, but I don't remember ever hearing a scratchy, scratchy, scratchy. So that's that. Now, let's move in a little closer. If you'll notice right here, she's kind of torn. So this caliper's, it's time for her to go by the wayside. Now, this little doodah here is going to make life so wonderful. So this caliper is going to go away. I'll be taking it off here. Right here, there's that bolt. But what I'm going to do is I'll get the new caliper all set up, and I'll show you that when I do it. And then I'll get it ready, so when I undo that, it'll start to gravity bleed automatically, and then I'll put it right on the other caliper with the bleeder open, and then I'll keep it there until the bleeder starts bleeding, and then I'll know she's full. And we shouldn't have to do any bleeding at all. A lot of bleeding going on. Alright, this truck's goofy. Everything's been metric so far. This is 9/16. I guess Dana, who's made this rear end, is still using American standard parts. It's okay with me, but it does kind of mix things up a little. Yep, standard bolts. Woo! A little bit of Loctite on that one, or is that... Actually, I think that's Permatex, because there is oil going to be behind this. So we're about to get ugly here. Yeah, she's got... It's Permatex. See, it looks like I've been in here before. But I can't believe that that brand new rotor got that bad that fast. Maybe not. Maybe it wouldn't be. I don't know. It does look like my work, though. Somebody's been in here. But I may have replaced the rotor without replacing the caliper. In which case, it would have probably eaten that. Because this doesn't look bad here. The out front part of the rotor is the rear that got eaten up, so maybe that caliper was defective. And that would explain prematurely destroying that rotor. I will call the auto parts store and see if this is a lifetime warranty. I don't think they'll honor it though, because it's a wear item. So, but we got this axle. Oh, there we go. I better get a little something to catch the Earl, because it's going to make a mess. I don't think it's going to be very much, so I've just got a little lid. If it starts to get too much, I'll go get a bigger bucket. But I think this is just going to be a little bit, so I've got like a protein powder lid on it. Take this axle out. We don't want this to get all nasty and dirty. I probably should have wiped it before I pulled it out. But it should be minimal spillage. There we go. We'll stand this bad boy up in the corner somewhere. And I'm going to get dirty and move up. But she's not been leaking, even though I smelled... Oh my gosh, how long is this thing? Holy Moses and Aaron! Now there's a little snap ring right here. I don't know what to call these, silly rings. They overlap a little bit, but it's just a snap ring of some sort. And you just pop that out of there, and there's a keyway right here. Alright, and that keeps this little spanner wrench, or spanner nut, whatever you want to call it, keeps it from... Oh, clean. Anyway, I'm going to put this up here where it won't get lost, hopefully. And I've got to find a way, and my multi-tool / Leatherman's going to be the king of this show. I'm going to pull that keyway out, put it up there. Hopefully we won't cause any major vibration and those disappear forever and ever. That would be bad. I'm going to take these out. Now this gasket is threatening to tear, but I want to leave it as best I can. So we're going to goo her back in there with some silicone. Now, this is supposed to be, I believe it's supposed to be a lock nut, so it should have been a little tighter than that, but it may not be able to lock because of that keyway, so we'll find out when we put it back together. There's all sorts of crap getting in here. Alright. Nope, there is no crush nut. It is just that keyway that keeps it together. So we're going to wipe this off. We don't have to worry about gooing all this stuff up before we put it back together, because it's going to goo itself because it's a full floating axle, which means there's fluid going in and out of the bearing at all times, which is a much better situation than most. So we're going to put this aside, same place as the other two parts, because I cleaned it-ish. Now we got to try to get this out of there. This thing weighs a ton. Like I said, she wasn't leaking anything out of the back, so I'm not going to replace the seal or anything. I'm going to try to get this off of here. Come on, baby. That's just not going to cooperate, so we're going to take this off of here if I can. I'm probably not going to put it back on. Nope, it's destroyed. Actually, I don't think it was actually a gasket. I think that was just Permatex, very nicely laid in there. So, this thing does not want to come on. Come on, you. I just cut my nails. Not a good time to cut my nails, because it's just trying to, just doesn't want to come out. So let's get back to the leathering. See if I can get it doesn't want to play nice. There we go. Come on. There we go. Good girl. Alright. Well, I may be wrong about how much fluid comes out of this thing. She's lost about, I don't know, maybe 3 milliliters or 3 yeah. You know, like a medicine cup. A hit of NyQuil. You know, it's shot glass. There we go. No, not quite a shot glass. Shot glass is a little bit bigger than that. But it's about a shot glass worth, I guess, ish. But she's still dripping, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. Oh, there she stopped. There you go. Alright, it's just because I'm messing around there. Alright, the bearing's going to go up here in a safe place again with everything. Oh, that doesn't look very nice. Alright, we're going to put all that up there to try to keep it clean. I'll probably end up dropping it into the dirt because that's just my way. And I'm going to take this off because we have to disassemble this to put the new one on. So, hang tight. We're going to do that right now. Come on, baby. Oh gosh. You're going to have to get a... Eat your Wheaties. Well, those look good. There's my emergency brakes. Those look halfway decent. So those will be fine. This is, what the heck? Just brake dust. How funny is that? Now, we're going to give her a little cleanup. So there we go. That'll work. I like it. Alright, now we're going to have to take this rotor and take her apart. Well, as you can see, this is not good. The outer part of the, or inner actually part of the rotor is non-existent. It's just gone. See these bolts in here? This is how we separate the rotor from the hub. So we're going to take this off. Well, we might have to get the big guns for this. Well, that little bloop 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 means the battery's dead. And since I am sitting here with the big gun right next to me, we're going to just use the big guns. So here we go. Well, that's not even funny how easy that took it off. Wow. Started to come off. Let's try a few more. I do have this wobble extension on there. That's probably not the best thing for this. But let's go ahead and take the rest of them off. That one, no problem. It's always got to be one, you know what I mean? Now prepare for a fight, because this has been on there a while. So this is going to really give you a hard time coming off. Ready? Okay, maybe it wasn't so hard. Just kidding with you. It actually usually they come off pretty easy. It's got a little bit of oil here. But there's a little bit of residue, so it looks like maybe this seal was given in a little tiny bit, but not really. there's not enough. I mean, it's, nah, not even. There's just a little bit of residue here. Not a big deal. Anyway, so that's as far as we can go till my parts get here. So we're just going to clean this up a little bit and wait for my parts, and then I'll compare this, show you this compared to the new one, and you'll go, oh my gosh! You'll see. But I'm going to go get me some chow, and then when the new parts get here, we'll finish it up. Well, I told you I'd show you the difference between a new rotor and the old rotor. There you go. You see anything different? This one has no backside. It's just like nothing there. See? Nothing. Big thick piece of rotor. So this one is beyond junk. Should have been retired long ago. This one, the inner drum is a little bit, well, yeah, no, I guess it's the same, it just looks a little different. Alright, so now we put this on here, like so. Let's make sure they're the same height, just for kicks and giggles. Oh yeah. Everything for this truck is so heavy. Alright, now the bolts have shoulders on them, as you can see, so you just got to put those in. I am going to put a little bit of Loctite blue on there. Just going to put a dab and put them in. Some of these don't want to go in anyway. I probably should clean up the threads, but we don't want them to come out, so I'm going to put them back in the way they are. It's nature's Loctite, you know. Just, if they're hard going in, they'll be hard coming out. Of course, we may never get them out, which would be kind of a bummer, but so we just keep dabble doom. Starting to get a little chilly out. It's weird, I stopped, went in the house and got myself an egg and bacon, egg, and cheese muffin just to grab something quick. Parts guy showed up just about the time I finished eating it, so that worked out well. And then here we are. So get the big boys, change the direction. We're just going to snug them all at first and then we'll suck them down. I'm going to make sure that she's centered. That one. There we go. There we go. Well, we're going to have to clean that one. On the bench, we're going to put this caliper together. First thing we're going to do is take this outside piece off, like we did on the other one. Make sure this is going the right way. I hate taking something brand new apart, but it's the only way to do it. Oh, I forgot I got to change the battery on this stupid thing. Alright, anyway, take these out, they're out, and then just slide this bad boy off of here, just like that. And we'll put this aside. Alright, now, I've got the old one right here, so that I can see just how these things are on here. So I put it next to it, and then I set them exactly like they are. So I can take these things and I can install them exactly like they are on the other one. Now you'll notice there's two different kinds. There's 1, 2, 3 across, and then there's 1, 2 across with a little funky looking doohickey here. And that one goes on this side, and that's why I bring the other one to put it next to it. So if you go like that, they're the same. You don't want them to be different. So they're going to go that way. Okay, so we got these good. I don't really know why they make them different. They just do. Then we got to determine which of these pads go in here. Alright, we got this one. It's got a little scratcher there. And we got this one. And it's got no scratcher, right? So no scratcher. I believe if I look at this, we should find that this little doohickey here goes somewhere. All right, the one with the little doohickey here goes towards the caliper. It's going to go on this side. All right. So pad outward, obviously, because it's going against the rotor. So we're going to stick it in there, run it down in here, and we're going to slide her in. And she'll be right there. All right. And then this one is going to go the opposite way. It's going to go in here. There we go. Go up in here with this. Whoop, went too far. That's the problem when you start messing with this. Sometimes they'll push in and they can be a real pain in the hoose cow. But seem to be. Boy, that's strange. There's only 3 pads. Where's the 4th one? Well, I don't need it, but the truth be told, one's missing. Oh no, there it is. I stuck it aside. Never mind. I'm just crazy. Don't mind me. All right. So now we get this. Dadgummit, David. There we go. All right. And then we're going to go here. We're going to get our caliper. All right. And we don't need these bolts right at the moment. So what we need to do is we need to get this. I've got the bottom pad still in. There's an upper and a lower here. So you got to stick this one underneath the upper and into the lower. Then you're going to bring this one up, and I guess that's why this is different. This one's just going to go up and it snaps in to this one. And then what we have to do is we have to bring this out like here. There we go. Because it all has to go. We have to have enough room to get this one into here. And I'm not 100% sure how I plan on doing that, but we're going to find out. See if there's enough room to get this one in here. No, actually, I think maybe we have to pull this one back up a little bit. This is the one that goes there. There we go. And then stick this one in here. And I guess we'll go back to putting this one in the way we had it. You just got to push it down into here. There we go. It's going to go all the way down against the other one. And then we're going to do the same thing over that I just did. I know it's a little confusing. It's confusing me too. There we go. Now this one's going to have to come outside like that. This has got to go in. I do believe it's not there yet. It's got to come in. There we go. Now this one is pretty much there. We're going to pull this back. Get this. This is going to come forward a little bit now. It's kind of fun. Not really. This is going to come forward a little bit. Here we go. And then this has to go, make sure it all fits into the slots. You gotta pull on these, there we go. Because this one has to be in front of this little doohickey here. That makes it a pain in the butt. But now we should be, pull this so we can get this forward. There we go. That one should be good. And I believe we should be in there. Let's put that one in. Let's say that's good. That one in. I'd say that's good. There we go. I know it was a little confusing for me. I don't know how much of that you could see. But you have to kind of, I guess I could have left them both in there, but this one has to be back far enough to be in front of this thing here and this thing here. And you just got to kind of finagle it in. It's a pain in the hoosecow, but once you're done, you're done. Now what I'm about to show you is going to make your life way, way easier. Well, I just happen to have that wrench laying there. How incredible is that? Because you don't really want to sock these down too bad. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm gonna put a little bit of Loctite on these too, because you definitely don't want these backing out. Now this is my own trick. If you'll notice, well, you probably can't tell from this angle, but the caliper is leaning that way. Okay, which means this is the highest point on this caliper right now. So we're going to take this out. Now right now the other caliper is full and the lines are full, and so the idea is to fill this caliper and we're liable to make a little bit of a mess because we're just using a funnel, you know. You don't want to pour it too fast because it's going to do that. Now, we're just going to clean it up. I'm going to put this back in. You can see she's full and she's staying full. So this entire caliper is full. I kind of like it when they have these little caps on them instead of the bolt, but the bolt's going to hold enough of it in there. We'll be good. I'm going to clean it because I hate getting my hands dirty, especially when I'm putting stuff back together. So we're going to put that all the way in. I'll close up my can of juice here. I'll clean this up. Then we're going to go over to the other caliper. We're going to put this one right next to it. We're going to take this off of the other caliper. And the line should, it's going to leak a little, but it shouldn't leak too much, because it basically kind of like a straw in a cup. If the other end's not, if you got one end blocked, it'll hold the water upside down on the straw. You know, if you hold your finger over the top, it'll pick up water because it causes a vacuum. So that's basically the effect we're looking for, and hopefully a lot of it won't pour out. And we'll just go ahead and go right from the other's sitting in the same exact way. So we're going to go from pulling that line off, get the other one out of the way, put this one in the way, right back on. Kabish? Kabish. We get it? We understand? Woohoo! All right, let's get her done. I'm going to take this nut out, get it ready. You can see that it's still, well, nope, it's not. We're going to go ahead and pour a little bit more fluid in there because I guess from me moving it around, it kind of drained itself a little bit, so we're going to add a little bit more fluid. It took just a smidge. But we're going to pull this one out of here, and then we're going to scoot that out of the way. We're going to push this one underneath it. We're going to put that line on the exact same way. She's a little twisted, it looks like, so it may not be as easy as I want it to be, but we'll see. Ready? You don't have to go fast, but the less time that's open, the better. Yeah, she's going to want to twist, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. Come on, girlie. All right. I'm going to try to keep this as clean as possible. And we're going to twist her back over the way she was. Oops. We need this other washer. Hope my arm's not in the way. Probably is. Sure, it is. But yeah, she's gonna be a little bit of a pain in the butt because of that twist in it. Come on, girlie. Come on. I knew that twist was going to be a problem. We'll get it. There we go. Just don't give up. It would have been advantageous to if I had put a pair of vice grips or a pair of pliers on that, but you know, who's thinking straight? So anyway, we got that done. Now we just got to sock it back down. It's very important that we make sure we have that washer in there, and we do. Hopefully it's clean. Just gonna zing her down. Slightly different size than the other one. This might be American made, but this is 15 mil. I'm guessing that one's probably 5/8. What a lot of people don't realize is that your hand is like a magnet. It's a dirt magnet, especially mine. My wife realizes that these things pick up everything, but it's a good thing when it comes to metal, because if there's anything on here, right, I can go like this, and it's all going to come off on my hand, because it's going to pick up any little pieces of metal, whereas a rag might leave something behind. This, my fingers are just going to pull it off of there. It's going to stick to my hand instead because of the oils and stuff on my hands. So, but, you know, it's better if your hand is clean. Of course, it won't be when you're done. I just wiped it on my pants. That should be clean enough. Alright, so now we've got all those bolts in the rotor. Everything's cleaned off here. Oh, is this dirty? The brakes are dirty. What's up with that? I know the guy on the phone asked me if I wanted brake clean. And I'm like, what for? What people don't realize is brake fluid is water soluble, so you can wash it off with a hose. So, like, why do you need special spray that you pay $4 a can for when you can wash it off with the hose, right? So I don't really understand why people spend so much money on brake clean and they use it for everything but brakes, but it is what it is, I guess. But you don't need it. It doesn't, you know, you can wash all this off with water, and you know, I don't know. Now this is flaky stuff. You'd have to chop that with a, you know, with a screwdriver or something. But you could literally wash this off with soap and water and have no problems whatsoever. And the fluids, unless you, of course, if you had axle fluid all over everything, yeah, you would need some kind of a degreaser for that. But for just regular brake fluid, which is what we're dealing with in here, yeah, you don't need nothing fancy to wash it off. So anyhow, we're going to go ahead and get this big kahuna of a rotor on here and start putting all this back together. So here we go. There's a big puddle underneath the rotor because that's where a lot of the oil was. And we're going to, holy Moses and Aaron. There we go. Whew, that's a big kahuna. Gads, Watson. All right, I'm going to get some towels. We're going to wipe all this off, make sure it's nice and clean, and then we're going to put it all back together. Just going to give this a wipe because you don't want any Earl contaminating the silicone and when we put it on, because we're basically making a gasket. So we're going to try to keep the silicone at bay here. I'm going to stick it in here, try to get as much of it as I can. Alright. We'll do it probably one more time before we put her all back together. And you remember the bearing? Here she is. Make sure she seats in there nicey nice. There we go. Come on, baby. There you go. Then we're going to put this back in. Now, it has notches on one side and it's flat on the other. Guess which side has to go on the outside? If you put it this way, you're never going to get it back out. So these notches have to be facing out. I like to turn it in the direction that that's going. It's now, I just felt it stop. I don't want to go any further. Won't go any further by hand. I'm going to get an awl, and I'm just going to try to push it a tiny bit further. But that's probably, it has no play right there. I'd say that's probably good right there. It has zero, oh, I lied. It's got play. So we're going to have to turn it some more. See, it's important to kind of make sure everything's right. So let me get an awl and see if I can't turn that a little further. The idea is to not have any of that. So we're going to just, okay, it's not an awl, it's a screwdriver, but it's going to do the same job. So. Now we want a little play because when it starts getting hot, we don't want it to start smoking. So we'll get it to where we have zero play. She's got a tiny bit of play right there. I think I'm going to leave it right there. Because she's just got just a smidge of play. Normally you tighten it so it's got zero play and then just back it off a tiny bit. I might back this off just a smidge. Yeah, I think I like that. Alright, now we put our little pin back in there, or keyway. Make sure that's all the way in. There we go. Then we have our little funky do. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I better get my glasses. I think this little nib right here, I think that fits into some, oh yeah, it fits into the keyway. Duh! Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to just push this on, just like so. And it should push all the way back and catch in that keyway. You got to make sure it's pushed all the way back. There we go. Yep, she's all the way back. Otherwise, she'll back off, that keyway will come out, and it'll be not good. Not good at all. So, that's not a lot of pressure on that. It's kind of scary, to be honest with you. We turn that. Make sure there's no play. It's got just a tiny bit of play. And I'm going to call that done. So we're going to put a little bit of juice, the silicone sealant, shall we say. I got to get some more of that Ford super sealant stuff that I used on this truck for the oil leak. That stuff was fantastic. But I don't really need that in this job. We're just going to use regular silicone. I call it Permatex. I know it's not Permatex brand, but I call it Permatex anyway. Now the bolts going in, we're going to put Permatex on them as well. So forgive me if I call it Permatex. It's not a Permatex brand. But I am just going to put a nice bead all the way around this thing.
You know, I like to smudge it, make sure it's everywhere. Maybe I just like to get my hands dirty, I don't know. But I don't like to just leave the bead and see what happens. I like to slide the axle back in. We want to make sure we clean this flange off real good too. Right here, we want to make sure that's clean too. Not much point in having that all nice and clean if this is dirty and oily. So we got all that done. Slide her in here. Come on, baby. There it is. I don't know if she's... That ain't gonna work. There we go. Alright. Now we're gonna take the bolts. I didn't clean them off very well. I'm gonna go do that now. I'm gonna clean these bolts off so we can get nice clean bolts before we put them back in. Now here's the goofy on these is I need to put some Loctite on them, so I'm going to put Loctite and put my little dab of Loctite on there, and then I'm going to get it started. Alright, now I'm going to do that on all of them. Now you notice I'm not putting them in very far, and I'm going to tell you why. Let me get these back, these in there all the way, and then I'll explain what I'm doing. So now you're thinking, all right, Dave, well, what are you up to? Now we're going to put Permatex. I want it to seal up here on the head, but I want it to lock in at the bottom because you don't want these coming loose. This is what's holding your axle in. So I'm just going to spin it, put in a blob, oh, it's not going to spin because oh yeah, I have it in neutral, okay. And although it's supposed to be a limited slip differential, and the other tires are on the ground, so it really shouldn't be turning. But oh well. She's got 300,000 miles on her, so I guess it's acceptable. Alright, so now I've got a blob of Permatex / silicone rubber, whatever you want to call it. I call it Permatex. The original brand, I reckon. And now I got to try to find the socket that I had to zing them all back on. Time to put the caliper on, and we're going to open up the bleeder once we get it on, and we're going to leave it open until it starts to drip, and then we should be good to go. So here we go. We're going to try to get this thing on here. Hopefully it'll go right on. Oh, we got to go this way because of the way I twisted it. Alrighty. Alright. Come on, baby. There we go. Alright. Now I just got to get in behind there. I put a spot of Loctite on the bolts. And I'm going to try to get this top one caught. I'm going to get my head all sorts of in the way here. fun part. There we go. We got it. Sorry about everything being in the way, you know, but it's really the only way to do it. There we go. I'm going to get this top one in a few threads first. And it was 21, right? Yep, sure was. Alright. Phew. And of course it's getting dark. And I have to have this one, it's half in my garage and half out, so it's got to go back in. 2, I've got to use this truck to tow something, and I've got a treat for you all tomorrow because I'm going to be towing something very unusual. Alright, so there's good. So now we got to get this one caught. There we go. Yep, and that line's not binding or anything. Perfect. So we're just going to, now the good thing about this electric as opposed to the pneumatic is it won't over tighten it. Now I do like to go back in by hand and check the tightness, which I'm going to do. I'm just going to get a regular ratchet. Now I am going to pull this, like I said, I'm going to loosen this bleeder, if I can get it off of there. Yeah, that's good. You probably can't see that, but there's a bleeder right here. And I'm just going to open that bleeder. Which is, I don't know, probably 10 mil, maybe smaller. Okay, ready? Press it to the floor. Press it to the floor! Let it up. See if you got brakes. Just hit it and see if you got brakes. Do it again. Pump it again. Got brakes now? Let it off. Wait a couple of seconds. Now just slam it like you're hitting the brakes. Got brakes? Okay, ready? I'm going to open it one more time. We're going to check it one more time. Don't touch it. You ready? Press it to the floor. All right, that's it. We're done. Thank you. Phew! I'm a lot dirty and tired. That is not an easy task. Those tires are heavy, all the equipment is fairly heavy. I'm sure one of them, big, huge guys, but I'm not. But we got her done. I just talked to the man that I got to go pick up his vehicle tomorrow. You may want to watch the next video to see what that truck is. It's just going to be pick it up and move it for the guy. But it's not a very common vehicle, so I think you may enjoy watching that. And I'll do a little walk around on it for you. It's not mine. I may get to work on it someday, but for right now it just belongs to this gentleman. But I think you're going to enjoy watching the walk around on it. This old girl's done. As you saw,
it took really one pump of the brake pedal to bleed that. There was a tiny bit of air when she first pressed it, and then no more air. I let her pump it a couple of times to get the caliper, because the caliper is not engaged with the rotor yet. So I had her pump it a few times to bring it to engagement, and then put some pressure on it. And then I went and cracked it one more time, and I got a tiny little squirt of air, not even enough to talk about. So that's why I stress filling the caliper with fluid before you put it on, because a lot of it, as long as you keep it upright, it's not going to come out. It's at the highest point, and because of the straw effect, like the finger over the straw effect, not a lot's going to come out of that line either. You can gravity feed it, which means you just let it sit there like overnight, and you'll find a bunch of fluid on the floor in the morning. That works fine too if you're by yourself. I had my wife in the house. I just asked her to come out for 2 minutes. I don't think it took 2 minutes. It literally, by the time she got in the driver's seat, we did it and we're done. I hate bleeding brakes. So there you go. There's a tip for you, so you don't have to waste a lot of time going, pump it up! Okay, pump it up, let it up. Forget that junk. Anyhow, there you go. It's how to change the rear inside dual caliper and rotor. The rotor's the biggest part, I guess. Caliper's pretty easy, just like any other caliper. But it's big and it's heavy. I mean, the calipers probably weigh 20, 25 pounds. The rotor assembly probably weighs 40 or 50 pounds. You know, and tires are 60, 80 pounds. So maybe more. So you're going to get your workout working on big duallies like this. But I love my dually. It's been a good truck, 300 plus thousand miles on her. She's got the Cummins. I had some oil leaks. We got those taken care of. She's like a brand new. You know what I'm saying? Like a brand new 300 some thousand miles. So what's a truck like this cost nowadays? Yeah, like 6-figure pennies. You know what I'm saying? This truck's I'm gonna drive it till the wheels fall off. And by the looks of that rotor, they almost did this time. Don't let your truck get that bad. This thing never let on. Other than that, like I said, it had like a cards in the spoke sound or a stick on a fence sound when you hit the brakes. I'm like, what is that all about? And I've been meaning to pull the back brake off and figure it out. But anyway, enough talking. It's getting late. I want to get cleaned up, eat some dinner, and chill with the wife for a little while. So we're going to pull this baby out. I'm going to have to load the trailer tomorrow because it's dark out. And we'll go get that special vehicle tomorrow. And please tune in for that. Nonetheless, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Tell your friends about it. And hit the like button. That makes me feel all warm and fuzzy, you know. See ya!